So this is the Darling River at the Gundabooka National Park. I spent the night last night at Yanda camping ground in the national park. Quite a nice day, very, very quiet. Facilities here, there's toilets and picnic areas and that sort of stuff, tenting and caravanning, but the numbers now with post-COVID are limited to like 10, but there was myself and another caravan here last night. It might not be an environmentally correct sort of view, but I really do like these gums on the banks of the river and their exposed roots, casting a very sombre image in the morning. The colours here just don't pick up on the camera or the photos. It's a really ghostly grey in the morning, and as are some of these old gums. So it was really sort of, I think the word is pallid, when I woke up this morning and looking around. Tremendous trees though, it's funny they could tell part of their stories. So I'm going to continue driving down the Darling River Run this morning. I'm going to go head on down to Louth. I've got my diesel friend here, Pedro, closely followed by Invader Zim, the Stony Creek forward fold camper. I have a great time in that, and it's great to be able to crawl into a king-size bed each night and have my stove and fridge all very, very handy. But yeah, this is the campground at Yanda. Picnic tables. There are some barbecues scattered around the place. I'm not sure if they work. Haven't tested them because I don't need to. And there's a toilet block through there. Great big area, but as I said, limited to 10 people at current. So let's head off. 10 to 9. So I suppose out the gate by 8 is a good target, but some mornings out by 9 is fine too. So on leaving the Yanda campground, I took the road out to towards Dry Tank Camp and went down to the First Nation people's, the cave artwork, and we'll have a look at that. And then I came back and around into Dry Tank Camp, and then Bennett's Gorge, and then I followed the road out to the Darling River Run again. So you'll be looking for the signs to Ben Lomond Road, Bennett's Gorge and Dry Tank Camp. Okay, so I've now got about 50-60 kilometres off the Darling River Run, and I'm here still in Gundabooka National Park, but this now is at the Mulgowan art. There's some First Nation people artwork here. So let's go and have a look and see what we can see in the artwork side of things. It should be quite interesting. Generally it's a bit of a climb over these rocks and rocky paths, but it seems to be, hopefully, marked by these red markers placed in the rock. So here we are on the creek bed itself, and I've just walked my way up one of the banks, and here's the steel platform, the viewing platform for the artwork, and we'll have a look at that in a second. But I always find it fascinating. It's like Sacred Canyon out in the Flinders in South Australia. I get a real buzz out of being in a place where it's just known that the First Nation people walked and talked and held their festivities and their functions and their rituals and things like that. Such a great place. Bit of a strange word and terminology to use, but I do enjoy this. So let's have a look at the artwork. So really places like this are just, as I say, priceless and well worthy of keeping. It's such a pity that we have to keep it behind metal bars. But that's what people are like, I suppose. As I say, it's not just the artwork that I get a buzz out of, it's the presence of being here and knowing that others have been here before, long before. So yeah, great place to visit, and certainly part of the Darling River Run, even if it is several kilometres off the beaten track. Great drive. It's funny though too that this national park is just actually off the Bourke Road, and I came up that road and stuck my nose in here a couple of years ago when I came up, and I said it'd be a place to come back, and I just realised that it is the place I wanted to come back to. On the way back to the Darling River Run, I decided to stop in at the dry tank campground, and here it is here. It's a nice area. I'm afraid I probably prefer where I stopped at Yandar last night, but then again, each to their own. It's a fairly open area. There's little nooks and crannies and that in amongst the trees. I reckon you could spend a day here if you wanted to. There is a walking track I see disappearing off there, a little mountain walk, and yeah, just another place. Probably it's closer to the Aboriginal artwork up there. Again, like Yandar, there's a toilet facility over there, but you'd have to bring in all your water and that sort of stuff and expect to carry your waste out. Right, about 15 kilometres southwest of Dry Tank Campground is a lookout point for Bennett's Canyon, but also it's the launching point for a climb, or a walk they say, up to Mount Gundabooka. Now Mount Gundabooka is actually 500 metres high, and the plains below are about 200 metres or 150 or so from where I've parked, and that's a climb about 300 metres, so maybe another day for me. And I must say, and I didn't say it earlier, but the road into Dry Tank Campground and even to Bennett's and to the artwork is rougher than some of the other surrounding roads. So depending on your transport, you may like to think about coming into these places. But enough now, that I'm going to head back to the Darling River run. I've skipped a little bit by doing the Gundabooka National Park trip, but I'm sure we'll make up for it. So after about, I reckon about 200 kilometres of wandering around the dirt and that in Gundabooka National Park there, having a ball, it was quite good. I've come here and I've doubled back. I've hit the Darling River run and I've come back northeast, and I'm here at what they call the terminal point of Captain Sturt. Now he had an expedition back in 1828-29, and he wandered around here with Hamilton Hume, and 6 years later then Thomas Mitchell wandered around. Now Thomas Mitchell you'll know from the bird that flies around, and also Charles Sturt you'll know from the Sturt Desert Pea. So they've both done a fair bit of travelling around. These here are Mitchell's wanderings. And anyway, so Mitchell came across the terminal point here, and they both blazed a tree, and because the Darling River is just over in through there in those trees, and this here is Hume, what do they call this? Hume Creek through here. So yeah, it's great countryside here, and let's head back that way there. We'll go southwest and we'll head towards Louth, and maybe even we'll get to stay at the Trilby homestead. So let's go and explore. It was during this stop and over lunch that I noticed that one of my trailer tyres had a flat, so I jacked it up and changed it over, and I never could find out where that hole was, but maybe I'll have a more chance when I get home. So now I've made it to Louth, but I'm afraid it's very quiet here. The pub's shut due to COVID virus. Not much happening at all, so I'm going to drive on down to Trilby Station and have a look there. But this is the bridge over the Darling River, and that'll take us down the western side. There's the Darling on the other side of Louth. Louth's just over there obviously, and there's camping here on the riverbanks, and someone called it a common, but I'm not staying here tonight. I think I'm going to carry on down to Trilby, so let's have a look how that pans out. So I've arrived at Trilby Station, and this is right on the Darling River. You get to have a campsite all to yourself, quite large camp areas, and there's amenities, hot showers and toilets and that sort of stuff up by the homestead. And the suggestion is you go up there and have a shower before you head off in the morning. So I might just take her up on that. They've got rubbish bins here, there's a fireplace, I haven't lit it up yet. They give you some firewood, and I see there's some paper there as well. And yeah, $15 for the night. Trilby Station used to be part of the Dunlop Station, which is a very old sheep station, and there is the Dunlop Station up the road that you can do a tour with and have morning tea and that sort of stuff in the mornings. 11 o'clock that starts, so not sure yet what I'll do. Still got a little while of a drive down further to the next campsite. Well, I sit here now contemplating my pork steak for dinner and just thinking what a great day it's been, pottering around the Gundabooka National Park after spending the night at Yalda, and yeah, looking forward to tomorrow and seeing what that brings, and just taking it easy in the morning probably. And sitting here now at the end of the day, you have to wonder about what this river was like in the early days. It was named after Sturt, after the New South Wales Governor, Ralph Darling. Sounds like a Blackadder series. The paddle steamers that were up here, they had ports at Walgett, Brewarina, Bourke, Louth here, just up the river, Tilpa, Wilcannia, Menindee, Pooncarry, and Wentworth, which is where the Darling meets the Murray River down in on the Victorian border with New South Wales. Imagine paddle ships paddling up here now, transporting copper and wool, and taking them down south.